We're the bench boys, we're the bench boys, coming to you live. We're the bench boys, we're the bench boys, coming to you live. So why not plug in and listen to us, rant about our favorite teams. We could sit and talk all day, but we got bills to pay. So for now, we're the bench boys, we're the bench boys, coming to you live. We're the bench boys, we're the bench boys, coming to you live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new episode of the Bench Boys podcast. Today, you have me, Tyler, Jared, as
How's
usual,
it going?
and Brent's back this week.
Oh, 2 weeks in a row.
We can't forget our lovely background man, Brett, doing our cameras and everything. Well, that was quite the Leafs game last night.
So good.
Wow. No doubt. The end was damn exciting.
Useless is what that was.
Yeah.
At least they made
It
it,
was-
interesting.
It was a lot of effort for obviously not the result.
No,
I heard Bob McKenzie say exactly what you said that there, Brent,
at least they made it
today.
interesting.
Yeah, which, on one hand, yes, I guess, because it saved them. Like, man, I'm rattled. So rattled. I could not imagine what media would have been like today if
Oh,
they
if
got
they got
smoked
smoked,
5-0.
Oh yeah.
Would not have been good.
Oh, that would have
Like-
been a bad time.
Yeah.
Here comes the playoff collapse.
This is the problem. The thing that pisses me off, and the reason why I don't like the fact that they lost 5-4 last night, is the fact that how can you get 30 shots on a team like Chicago in one period and let them score 5 goals on you in the first two?
Yeah.
4 in the first.
I don't know. They got well, Chicago. I mean, has a potential Hart candidate in Kane.
Yeah, that's great,
And
but
he
he didn't
walked
have
it.
4 goals.
No, but he definitely was part of that offense.
That was a nice pass that he
yeah,
made.
yeah.
They're not a playoff team.
Oh, it could happen.
It could happen. You're right. We've
Yeah.
talked about
Literally
this.
could.
Like, that West race is ridiculous. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
it later.
Yeah.
We talked about it before. But the Leafs, they laid a fucking egg on Monday against Tampa Bay. They played awful. Austin Matthews said they quit. Like, quote, word for word, he said, we quit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be too worried.
Why?
I think this is just a bad stretch. And
Sure.
they still have, 13 games left?
12.
12. So that's still enough time to get stuff back on track.
Yeah, that's fine. But you can't tell me that a team like Boston isn't licking their lips going, oh, yeah, I can't wait to play that in the playoffs.
Every team in that conference is saying, yes, this is great.
Give me Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That cannot happen.
So if they go into the playoffs cold like this, oh no, I'd be freaking
Yeah.
out.
This is the
But
issue.
if it's just right now, I think they have enough time to reset and hopefully get some pieces back, like Gardner, maybe.
The real issue I have, okay, obviously the Leafs are missing 2 of their top 5 defensemen, arguably top 4 if you don't include Hainsey.
Yeah.
Or Zaitsev, one of the 2.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt any team. That's fine. I get that.
And they're 2 minor kids, right? I can't remember their names. Bjorkstrom
well,
and the other one.
so that's part of the problem too. Like the Tampa game and the Chicago game, Hyman and Kapanen were out too.
Yeah,
Right.
Kapanen's got a concussion, right?
Yeah, Kapanen's concussed, Hyman's sick. The whole team apparently was sick on Monday. That's great. That's like okay. That's that's excuses and stuff. If Tampa Bay does something like that, nobody bats an eye because they've got 100 points in the bank already.
Kucherov gets
110 points.
5
Sorry,
points a
let's not
game.
shortchange them. But the Leafs, I think I've said this before. The Leafs and Tampa have a very similar build, team wise. Obviously, you don't have Kucherov on the Leafs, but they're very offensive. Their decor is not the greatest, and their goaltending is great.
Mhm.
Why doesn't Tampa have this? Why does Tampa not have this problem?
I'd take Tampa's D over Toronto's any day. My
I think I would too, but
I don't think it's well. I think
think
I
it's
think the
pretty-
main reason you take it is Hedman. That's one guy.
I still really like Sergachev, even though he's having a bad
Yeah,
year.
sure,
And
that's Dermott.
McDonough is like their Muzzin.
I think maybe.
Yeah, okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like the reason you take Tampa's D over Toronto's D is because they have Hedman. Because to me, Dermott is Sergachev.
I like Stroman too. He's just like that stay at home, nothing fancy.
Yeah,
guy.
sure, that's
It's like
fine.
a-
So's
it's like
Hainsey.
Hainsey.
Hainsey's not as good either. I'll agree with you, but if you looked at Tampa Bay, their issue is the same as the Leafs, and it's defense. Their offense, like the Leafs have the same offense. They do. They've proven it aside from Monday.
Yeah.
Why does Tampa Bay show up every night and the Leafs
So-
can't? Like, what is going on? That's what I'm scared
I
of.
think it's structure on how they play. So Tampa
Yeah.
is such like a East-West team. Like, you know what I mean? Like they cross, like even their power play. It's Stamkos, Kucherov. They get the goalie moving, and Kucherov just nails it on the right side every time. Whereas Toronto kind of plays that pass until they get a shot. So that's just the power play that I'm focusing on. I don't watch enough Tampa this year, to be honest. But I have watched a lot of Toronto. They seem very disorganized when they get pushed around.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
100%.
would be the only thing that I could key in on is that, and you know that's why they brought in Muzzin, right? So
But again,
to try to fix that, but I still think they get like flustered or panicked.
that's my
When
point.
it gets tough.
Why
right?
doesn't
Which
that happen
is-
at Tampa Bay?
I
They have
honest-
the same makeup on forwards. They don't have big forwards.
I don't want to say it's like effort level, but it might be.
That's
Right.
That's why I'm scared.
Yeah.
So that's
When your
Mental
future
fortitude.
captain, most likely,
so
comes out and says we quit to the media against
Yeah.
the best team in the league.
but that is literally like 10 to 20 minutes after they just lost. So he's in a bad mood.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So grain of salt when they talk about
Yeah,
stuff like that.
but that's when do you hear that?
when people are pissed off.
No, you don't even hear it then.
I think you do.
The Leafs,
fucking,
drove
fucking Babcock like let loose last
the
week,
Leafs
remember?
drove a semi-trailer off a cliff with Phil Kessel and Tyler Bozak and JVR, and not once did they say they quit.
We'll say. Well, I was almost gonna say second, but the Phil was like hated because of his style, right?
Yeah.
So that's just the media, right?
Well, I
don't-
know, but that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you
So-
don't hear shit like that.
But
you know, like,
I'm saying it's Toronto, so I bet you do hear that stuff. It just doesn't get focused on as much because this
I
is
don't know,
Toronto.
man. We're
It might not
all
be. I don't
we are a Canadian. Like, we're all in
Oh,
the Canadian
oh.
market.
Yeah,
I don't really. Okay, you hear it in like read between the lines fashion, but legitimate, we
Yeah,
quit.
Saying it, I guess saying it in an interview is a little bit different.
hell, you didn't
But-
even say that at a rec game yesterday,
Yeah.
and we quit. Fucking Taylor.
Right? It's just, I don't know, man. It's frustrating. It's brutal.
Bad timing.
Yeah.
It's terrible timing. I don't know how you can, like, obviously
It
Chicago.
makes you nervous. It makes you nervous.
Yeah,
Toronto.
obviously Chicago is a far different opponent than Tampa Bay.
I'm cheering for Chicago.
But how can you say that you quit in a game against Tampa Bay? Like,
Oh, that's
I don't know, man.
they're
It's,
so good.
well, yeah, they're good. That's
They're
great.
so good.
But you can't.
He shouldn't
You-
have said it,
If,
obviously.
do you
but-
want
That
to
sort
win
of
a,
stuff you say behind closed doors, not
Or just keep it to yourself.
again? I
That's-
think
it's
we
like
Everyone knows
Ottawa
anyway.
syndrome.
I think we brought
Yeah.
it up last week, right? How many teams have won the president's trophy and Stanley Cup in the same year?
Yeah, like
I actually
I
can't
don't even
remember
That
know.
means somebody beat the best team in the league. You're probably going to have to beat the best team in the league to win the cup.
Was it Nashville last year?
we went. Yes,
yeah,
it
okay, I
was.
think so,
And then it was Capitals, the 3
Yeah.
years preceding.
Yeah.
which they never
Yeah,
won,
never
right?
won.
So it's like I don't
It's the curse.
think the President's Trophy team has won a cup since like early 2000s.
Yeah, I remember
think
we
New
looked
York
at it.
back in the 90s. That's the only
I
one
think it
can
was
think of.
even further
like
back.
NCAA.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just
Yeah.
Probably Detroit at one point.
you can't like
Yeah.
obviously it's a media term and whatever, but the measuring stick games you can't mail in.
Yeah.
And the Leafs actually played okay in the first 10 minutes of the Tampa game and then fell apart. And that's not normal for them. Like normally it's the first 10 minutes they fall
Usually,
apart
yeah.
and then they
it's
wake
the
up.
other way. Yeah.
Fucking Chicago last night, same thing. It was 4-0 after one.
Yeah,
What the
You can't
They-
expect to win a game if you let in 4 goals in the first.
like they played okay in the second, right? But if you can turn it on whenever you want, hypothetically, Why'd you wait till the third? Like, clearly there was a switch that went off in the second intermission that was like, oh, man, we need to fire this up.
Mm-hmm.
And it better not have been, oh, I don't want to deal with the media tomorrow if we don't.
It's a funny thing when you see
yeah.
teams just switch, right? Like you see it with a lot of teams.
Well,
Like they're playing garbage. You know?
Blues this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that with a goalie. That was their spark. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but see, like, those ones, that's a pretty impactful
So
thing.
I think
Philly kind of too, right?
I think the thing that fixes Toronto is one of those veteran guys like Marleau or Muzzin. They both have that pedigree to really like say something in the like. That's a room thing.
Oh, yeah,
That's
for
something
sure.
like, guys,
Yeah.
we got the team. This is your shot before Mitchie over there gets $12 million.
I kind of saw,
as according to Brad Marchand.
yeah, that was a nice troll job.
yeah,
That was
actually
good.
really funny.
I saw that too. Like, I can't remember who wrote the article, but the headline was, with a game like Chicago, it almost makes you think the Leafs are missing that captain figure.
But
I don't think that's real. I don't.
they have two previous captains on their team.
I
Yeah,
think
Marleau
you just need
and
to wait.
Tavares.
But the thing is, they're not. Like, I'm sure Tavares
Speaks up.
speaks up.
Yeah.
Same thing. Riley, I'm sure he does. I'm sure Matthews does too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, all the guys that are kind of in topic or like
that have
in,
been there the
in-
longest and have that
Yeah.
pedigree. Like
That's the thing with Tavares, maybe not necessarily like having that kind of rapport yet.
he's always been a quiet guy though.
Well,
Like, to the media.
yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
Know, I don't know about.
Well, that's it. None of us
It's-
know what the
it's tough to say.
none
right?
of us know what the room's like. But I don't know. I don't know if I buy the captaincy thing. But
I don't at all.
Yeah, no.
it's one of those things. Like it seems like it's either a coaching issue or a leadership issue where they don't start when the fucking puck drops.
Well, and that's the thing is you can't even say that it's the rest of the team because even those stars and those veterans don't look good in those situations.
We've had this conversation for like the last 2 months.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous.
I think obviously it doesn't look good right now, but I'm saying the sky's not falling yet.
No.
Right.
But in a week's time, if it's still the same, then yeah, maybe panic button.
Mhm.
Problem is the moment something shitty goes down against Boston in the first round,
They're gonna
this is
play.
coming back.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
coming
yeah.
right back.
Sparks should have played more.
I think.
He actually played really well yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, now he's
And then got
When
the
did he
loss.
get put in? He like
He got started the second, so he
Oh,
let
it
in
was
one
start of the
goal.
second.
So wait,
yeah.
is
He got the loss for that
Right.
Freddie's got pulled twice now in a row?
in 2 games.
Yeah, that sucks. So that's a big part of it too. Maybe Freddie was off for 2 games.
Well, Freddie wasn't good against Chicago. That's fine. He
I
was.
only watched half of that game because I had hockey.
Yeah. Well, I forgot it was on. Didn't turn on the first. Saw it was 4-0, and I was like, oh my god.
You're probably like, I'm glad I didn't watch.
But I watched the highlights and wow.
Yeah.
But another thing that I saw and I want to touch on Twitter yesterday and today.
A tweet?
Holy crap. The Leafs fans that are coming out calling for a penalty shot from D'Elia kicking the net off at the
So-
end. Oh my
I
god.
think that was a smart play.
I don't think he did shit.
Even if he did, that's a smart
I-
play. Would you rather have that without
Yeah.
a stick or the penalty shot?
Well,
Yeah.
I'd rather have the penalty shot.
I mean, sure. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
I think
take.
it's slimy and I don't like it.
I
But
don't
it's a
think he
smart
did it.
play.
Dude, goalies take 2-on-1 slides,
Well,
back door, and smash into the post and they don't come off. He
Yeah.
barely touched it.
well, that
he didn't-
The moment that you start nitpicking on that kind of crap,
Yeah, well,
like,
I mean,
I don't think this should be reviewable at all.
no.
It didn't call it on the ice. They missed it. End of
Right.
story.
but they didn't.
But I like
don't-
the play.
They didn't
If-
miss shit.
If he did try it, I was like,
That's my point,
that's a
though.
good move.
They didn't miss shit. There was nothing to miss.
Regardless if they did. That's a smart
it wasn't
play.
much to miss, even if
Right,
it
like,
was anything.
I've
So.
seen a play. I think it was a
What's-
Flames game this year.
So the rule is last 2 minutes it's penalty shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I'm pretty sure it was a Flames game this year. Maybe not. Where there was a scrum and the defender legitimately picked the net up and pushed it off.
In Calgary? I don't remember that.
I'm not saying it was
Yeah, I don't
in
know.
Calgary. I'm saying Flames game.
Oh.
Might have been this year. Might have been last year. It's happened.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been called.
Yeah.
Well,
But
yeah.
these the moorings they use in the NHL, they don't just come off like that. I think what happened was there was like a scrum near that post, and somehow the mooring kind of got dislodged, and it was, instead of being in the ice 2 inches, it was in the ice a quarter inch, and then he barely touched it. I've watched goalies slide across the crease,
right.
smash in that post, and it doesn't move.
Yeah.
You cannot review that type
No,
of
no,
shit.
for sure, 100%.
No way.
But guys,
It's like a missed penalty call. That's all it is. That's
yeah,
all it was.
basically.
Yeah.
But even then, it's a missed call that
Well,
wasn't
people
there.
are saying, "Whoa, the league's got to do something." I'm like, no, it's the
No,
missed
that
call.
was a joke.
That's all it was.
It was another one of those things where it's just you guys need to stop.
I'm
I'm happy the Leafs lost last night. Happy. Because they didn't deserve 2 points. They didn't even deserve a point if they would have tied it.
Yeah.
Full credit to them that they barely didn't tie it. That was a crazy last minute and a half. Crazy.
The last period was that's actually a positive in a way too, right? Obviously, you didn't have the first period that you would have wanted, but your team did battle back pretty good, and they made it damn interesting. That last minute was chaos.
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking too is it's not just a one-sided story with Toronto; it's the other side, which is Chicago.
Yeah,
and they're doing so well, and Corey Crawford maybe healthy.
Yeah.
Don't want to jinx it.
Well, I think he was sick. That's what they were saying on the broadcast. He was sick, not hurt.
How many games he played in the last 2 years, right?
Well, yeah, for sure.
It's
but
ridiculous.
nothing really happened to him. It all of a sudden
getting
Dalia
old.
started in the third, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they were up 5-1 still, so it's oh, okay, maybe they're just
But that's what I'm
resting
saying.
him, whatever.
They've been so good, even just the last 2 games, and they've. I think Chicago of the past always had these young guys hit, and they didn't have that in the beginning of the season. Now they're getting people like Strome and
That was a good trade.
who's the small kid?
It was.
Yeah, big time. The smaller kid that plays on the second line, not Hartman. I can't remember his name to the life of me.
I'll find it.
Yeah, but those players are starting now to hit, and then Chicago's okay, now we can actually run 2 or 3 lines instead of playing Taves with Kane like they had to in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
DeBrincat? No.
Colin?
Is that right?
But DeBrincat is playing amazing.
Is that did I?
Colin or something?
Is De,
Well,
DeBrincat
DeBrincat
is 30
12.
some
DeBrincat's
goals.
crushing it.
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe that's who I was thinking of.
Because he's third line with Stroman.
It's night and day though, the team that was earlier Chicago in the year, and now it's
Well, Taves is actually having a really good season.
he is.
He's
Almost point per game.
well, even the last 2 years, it's been he's
Right.
kind of been his skating wasn't there, I don't think, and he wasn't the power forward that he was before. And this year, he's kind of driving more straight lines to the net, and he actually is shooting really well. I actually remember they had that commercial with him and Matthews the first year.
Oh, yeah.
And they made the little competition, hit that
yeah.
lamp or whatever, and it was real. And Taves was doing way better than Matthew, way better.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, the guy can shoot, obviously, but
Yeah, I was concerned that he was losing
a little
the
bit
body
over the
kind
hill.
of competition, against his own body. He was starting to get, his
I know
body was
this
starting to
is-
fail, but
It's
he's
maybe a little bit too aside, but I want to talk because we're talking about Taves. That Taves was in the top 100, and Malcolm wasn't.
I've seen that
Right.
a little bit
What?
this weekend. Now that,
That was crazy.
Malkin just hit 1,000 points.
Yeah, I was gonna allude to that.
Man.
I could not believe that snub.
It's hard to believe, but it's like they forgot.
Well, it's because he's in Crosby's shadow.
Kind
So-
of, but even then,
And he's the captain of when they had that run. That would be the only argument. But I still Malkin's so much better in my opinion.
yeah, look at the
Skill-wise,
numbers.
just skill-wise.
And
Not the hardware and all that.
I don't even feel like it's a Taves versus Malkin. I think it's a
There's
Taves.
probably other.
I feel like it's like Taves and Malkin are in, and it's like somebody else should come out.
Probably. Yeah, I didn't know half of the older players,
Well,
unfortunately.
which that's the other problem is a lot of this is recency bias.
They should have did
and
top 100 one. That's all I'm saying.
tied for 100. But this is potentially going to be Taves' best year
I think it is. Isn't
offensively. No, 76 points.
It? I mean
in-
goals.
Oh yeah, sure, goals. Actually, no. 20 that same season. Same season.
His max is 30 something.
2010, 2011, he had 32 goals,
Yeah.
44 assists, 76 points. He is at 30 goals, 41 assists, and 71
So he's
points.
damn close.
so right
So-
around, yeah.
Most likely, knock on wood for him, this is going to be a career year after a couple seasons where you're like, is he just
He's
That's
actually
impressive.
making the 10 million look like it's worth it. Whereas
Yeah,
like,
where
2 years ago you were like,
You were getting
"Ooh,
scared a
Chicago
little."
is screwed.
yeah,
Well, they're still screwed, but
Eh,
they're just screwed.
They got
They're
some
screwed on
contract-
other contracts still.
well, they like Duncan Keith is one of. I'm surprised they didn't move him at the deadline. To be honest, he's one of the easy move contracts.
I don't know if it's easy.
That's 4.5. Isn't it?
Yeah, forever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A team could have mortgaged and got less.
Yeah, but he's not good. Like he's not. The way he's played this year, he's not even worth 4.5.
I don't think very
Well,
many teams are looking
think-
for that old of a.
No, well, he was
I
just
don't know.
established, and he is like a good shutdown guy. But I think when I saw him last year, fantasy wise, he had like the worst shooting percentage I can imagine, like under 1%.
Yeah,
And he had
don't
like
think
Well,
it's
right.
far off this
I
year.
think he had over 100 shots,
Yeah,
which isn't great either. But like he didn't. Yeah, I don't think he had a goal until like the last 10 games of the season.
Yeah, I remember there was an epic
For like a
amount
top
of shots.
2 defenseman,
he's
that sucks.
signed until 2022-2023 season. So 4 more seasons after this.
How old is
He's
he?
gonna be
At
done after that.
5.538.
Oh, it's more than I thought.
Yeah, he's got to be.
That's
done.
not
He's gonna
easy
be
to
done.
move.
No,
You crazy
I thought it
man.
was 4.5, so I mixed up
It's the
numbers.
same as somebody telling me that the Flames should have traded for Jonathan Quick this year at the trade deadline. I'm like,
Who
dude.
who told you that?
I can't remember who I was talking to,
Ugh.
but I'm like, you realize they wouldn't be able to afford anybody next year. Right?
But
If you got contracts, you
Neil
gotta sign.
for quick.
Yeah, that's basically what
It's
I said.
fine.
The only way they would do that if they shed Neil's contracts. Like,
So, yeah.
but no, like the fact that Taves is potentially going to have, well, most likely going to have a career is crazy after this
But I mean, like
couple seasons he's had.
Kane, like even though he's done well consistently over the last like 5 years, he's having an unreal year.
Yeah,
He's back to like
Yeah,
the really, really good, shifty.
he's the guy that
fast
finishes like he did the last couple years.
Yeah.
like the game, like puck's on someone's stick, it's his, right for Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think, like he's not a big guy, but like for one of the smaller guys, he is one of the most skilled with his like stick handling abilities.
he's going for a career too.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like those
Yeah.
2 guys,
7 points
are
away.
kind of pushing that team up, and then Corey Crawford coming back. It's like the stars have aligned in some ways.
I could definitely see them pushing into a playoff spot.
You never know, too, right? If they get in those
Well, they're only,
playoffs,
what,
they're
I
playing well.
I forgot
4
they,
points
they
out.
actually have 2 young defensemen that have kind of popped up this year
Yeah,
too.
they do.
Right, like so. There's some bright spots in Chicago, which surprised me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the way they got started, right? It's the hitting on the draft picks. It's the not overpaying guys to come to your team to help fill out your roster.
I
You can just
think-
get cheap guys.
I
Yep.
think the model that people should be looking at is not Tampa and not Toronto because those windows are so small, unless you get the good contracts for long term. Is the teams like Boston and Chicago when they won, where you have the established guys and you rotate people in.
I don't.
I like
You
that
can't.
model better.
No,
is
but
all.
you can't call the Toronto Tampa window like that already.
No, but you know it's going to get crunched in like 2 years.
No,
It
I don't
could.
think you do.
I think it will.
But how?
It all depends
You're literally explaining the Leafs and the Tampa window as the very beginning of Chicago's window. Chicago's window was that exact way until they started trading away pieces, filling them in with players they have like right now, and then being good again. Tampa Bay there's no reason if Toronto
They can't keep it.
Toronto maybe because the cap
Toronto's-
hits like with Tavares and Matthews and eventually Marner and Nylander.
Well, I think they're going to lose.
They're
3
high.
people this year.
Tampa Bay has so many cap friendly contracts. They will
For-
easily be able to replenish that with young talent
What
that-
I'm
if they
saying-
draft well.
Well, like Braden Point's going to break the bank for them, and same with Vasilevsky next year.
Braden
gonna be
Point
tough.
can't break the bank for them if Kucherov's making less than 10.
It's still a huge. He's going to make close to 10.
Yeah, that's great.
I know, but I'm saying that's 3 guys. That's huge. It's like
The
it's
Leafs are going to have 3 guys at over 35 million.
That's even worse.
Yeah, I know. That's my
I'm
that's
not
my
saying
point.
it's
Like
good. I don't know.
Tampa Bay is in the Chicago, way closer to the Chicago cap or cup window than you give them credit for right now. Way closer.
I think they're going to have a really tough time in 2 years to keep like
Why?
4 of the lower guys that they have.
Okay, and then
Like-
they do what Chicago didn't trade them away.
That's what I'm saying. So, but I'm
But
saying
that's why you can't say today that their window is short because of what they're at now.
no.
You could have said that at the beginning of Chicago. Look what they did. They crushed it. They knocked it out of the park.
So Chicago crushed it, and then they overpaid their guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
What-
would too.
What I'm like a good team that probably could do this is the Avalanche. Is they get their guys like Rantanen's gonna be a tough one, but they get that lower tier guys signed longer. Like it was Soderberg. Is he still there? I think he is. Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get those kind of guys locked in, and then they just focus on the higher tier guys, and then just cycle in like 2 or 3 guys on the second and third line. Like that's what Boston's done the last 3 years, I think, and I think that's a winning formula. For
Yeah, but that's what
GM.
I'm saying. Like that's Chicago had the same issues that like Chicago traded away Dustin Byfuglien.
That was a mistake, but they had to.
Clearly, it wasn't. They won 3 cups without him.
I
Or
know,
sorry,
yeah.
2 cups without him.
He's
yeah.
an amazing player. You have to admit.
Yeah, but
He was
they-
gonna ask too much.
you
yeah.
got
That's
it.
why they had to because they
The difference between a short cup window and a long cup window is not the players you start with. It's the decisions you make later in that window.
Mhm.
It's the
I get
if
what you're
you get
saying,
it,
and I
if you
don't.
get into the LA Kings model where they overpaid people near the end to try and to use free agents to keep the window going, that's when you have a short window.
So I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is if you have like 3 or 4 huge contracts like those 2 teams are going to have, it's going to be so hard to get any kind of secondary scoring
But
that's any good.
You're looking at the huge contracts wrong, I think.
Maybe.
Because they're not, when you look at what the cap's going to be in 3 or 4 years, they're not going to be huge contracts.
Yeah, maybe I'm overblowing it. Like when Johnny
Tampa
Gaudreau-
Bay is going to be here for a long time.
Yeah, they're one of the preferred places to play because of the
And
tax.
yeah, right? Like if you want to look at Toronto like that, that's fine because the way that the cap's being managed so far, I'm in agreement with a lot of people. They didn't shave money with Tavares. Well, sorry. They could have paid Tavares 13 like San Jose wanted to, but you didn't get a deal on Tavares. You didn't get a deal on Matthews. You're not going to get a deal on Marner.
They're not. They don't have a
Yeah.
great contract to
Yeah.
work
well,
around.
Freddie Anderson looks pretty good.
How long is he?
He's only signed for 2 more years after this,
Yeah.
but it's 5.5. That's for
For
Vezina.
him, that's their best contract.
He's worth
Yeah.
more than that right now.
Right.
That's for sure.
And actually, Morgan Riley is a fucking gem
yeah,
too.
he's
Yeah.
6
He's
or
like 5 million
yeah.
or something too.
Those are both really good.
But they have a lot of they don't have albatrosses. Like they don't have a Lucic.
No.
They don't have a
They,
James.
they don't
Neal.
have a captain that they signed early, sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's the thing is with the Leafs though, like where Chicago nailed it on a couple is kind of like the Keith, but like the Leafs and the Leafs just don't have that. We signed this guy for. Actually, that's not true. Kadri's like that actually, where you
He's
sign.
4.5, right?
Yeah, where you sign the guy, and then he becomes
More.
way more. Like
This is
Kadri's
the
a-
guy is
Okay.
already here. And you
Kadri
sign
scored 30 goals 2 years in a row. He's not making like under 5.
him. Won't this
if-
year, but yeah,
No,
Yeah.
but
they need a player like him.
right. But that's what I'm saying. Like if he went to this is kind of the issue they're having with Marner and what they had with Matthews. Right, these guys nailed it right when they were coming up for contracts. Whereas Kadri not so much. He was kind of still a meandering like third or second center, and then all of a sudden, wham! He started scoring goals again, or started scoring a lot of goals. If he would have been up for a contract after last year, holy shit!
Yeah, they'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Right? So it's you just don't have a lot of those, and it catches up to you for sure. Where man, it's hard to believe that the guy that's leading the points right now with 111
Ridiculous, eh?
is under 10 million.
Yeah.
When the
Yeah.
guy that's second at 100 is at 13.
Yeah.
You know what was crazy? He was at 3.75 last year. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's a
Vasilevsky who's going to win the Vezinos at 3.5.
Those 2 contracts, Yzerman, I don't know why he didn't stay. He's like not enjoying the work that he did.
Man, I'm
yeah, right.
I
Like
am-
he doesn't even get to reap all the.
Man, I am crushing it here.
That's enough.
That's
It's
enough.
weird. It must have
they'll-
been
they'll-
personal.
They'll have a tough time in 2
obviously.
years,
Oh,
but
It sounded like it was
for
family,
next 2
but
years
yeah.
they're riding it.
he did a mighty fine job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So, I mean, we kind of touched on it. The scoring race is,
Close.
yeah, sure, close, 10%.
Super close.
But McDavid
100 points.
Third straight year at 100 points.
Yeah.
Second straight year missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him. Like, that's 300 points in 3 seasons. 300 plus points.
Well,
in 3
hell
seasons.
How
yeah.
happy do you think he is, though?
Well, he
He's
didn't
probably
seem too
very
happy
not
after
happy.
last night.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's great if you do well, but like
He probably doesn't give a crap that he's
yeah,
putting up
the
these
ultimate
points.
goal is to win the Stanley Cup, and they're not even close.
Oh yeah.
Mind you, they're still in the race for whatever we've said the whole time. Like,
Kind
it's
of.
not.
There's no
they're
way.
not. They're not out. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, obviously they're not
Statistically, they're
mathematically.
not
Like,
out.
and it's really not that bad. Like, they have the
4
potential.
points? 4
They
points
have
out?
they have the potential to earn 24 points in the next 12
But
games.
they have to pass 4 teams, right?
3 and
3,
then get in.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'd have to pass 4 teams,
That's a big
And-
stretch.
right? Like, they're fighting with Dallas, Arizona.
6 points too.
Wilder
Yeah.
things have happened.
Well, 6 points to Dallas, 4 points to Arizona. Oh no, sorry,
6 points
sorry,
to
I was looking
Arizona.
at. I had my mouse on Chicago for some reason.
They're not making it. There's no
I don't
way.
think they're gonna make it.
I'm just saying, it's surprising that they're still in it.
It's kind of like
the
we said though,
West.
right?
It's
It's
crazy.
this stupid
It's well.
wild card race.
I feel like,
It's great.
in my opinion, they haven't been in it for like a month at
I
least.
can't remember the last time I wasn't hoping the Flames would be in the wild card spot. Feels like the last
Right.
8 to 10 years. It's like, come on,
Just come on, you can get there.
Yeah,
yeah,
2
exactly.
points out, get in.
Right.
Now
That's
we're
the worst
looking
spot
out.
too.
Yeah. Oh, it's just
That is the worst because you get garbage for they'll probably still win the draft lottery somehow, but but you get garbage odds at draft lottery, you miss. It's like
If they call Edmonton Oilers on what April 6th, I think they said
7th or
7th
something,
is the draft
whatever.
lottery now.
it's close. It's less than a month.
Kind of interesting. They are doing it before the playoffs start. This
Yeah,
year.
what was it like second round or something that they used
Yeah,
to
it
do
was first. Well, last year I think it was like first or second round. It
Yeah,
was like intermission of a game.
I know,
So
right?
stupid.
Or it
Like-
was like just before the game started.
No, I
or
think it was
something?
an intermission, like first
Oh, yeah,
intermission or
it
something.
was.
It was so stupid.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't
It's
know why
an-
they would
like,
have done it then, but
If you're a team like if you're Vancouver right now, where your season's been over for
Yeah.
well, basically been over for a while. They've
Soon
been
as
kind of
Pettersson was hurt.
they've been kind of
season's
in the
over.
same boat as Edmonton, where they're like in it but not in it.
Yeah.
That fucking date of the lottery pick or whatever, like whenever they announce who gets first overall, that's a big day for your fan base.
yeah,
Yeah,
no
it is.
doubt.
Make it a day. Make it a thing to actually put on TV. You're not paying
Yeah.
players. It's basically free revenue for the league, for
Yeah.
the players,
well,
for
to
everyone.
be honest, it's only like what half hour.
yeah.
Yeah,
An hour.
yeah, that's
So
all you
it's-
need.
It's not a lot.
Put a half an hour special on, get a
That's what
couple
I mean.
commercials
Just
in
do it a
there.
little earlier, or do it after even some of the earlier games, right?
Well, no, but that's the whole point. I'm like, Derek, like the media's kind of trying to make is make it a special, like
Its
make it a
own thing,
standalone thing, because now the draw for like the games when they did it in the intermission and stuff, the draw was the game.
Yeah.
Why not have a completely secondary draw?
And because a lot of other fans are going to
Yeah.
watch that too, right?
Right, like obviously, there's fans like us where we watch hockey if hockey is on. But there's a lot of fans that just watch the Leafs or just watch the Flames or just watch the Canucks or just watch the, I don't know, who else is in there? LA. Maybe Colorado fans,
Yeah.
right? But this will bring a whole bunch of those fans that are in that lottery. I know when the Leafs won the lottery, I was very intent on watching that,
Oh yeah.
naturally.
Guaranteed your choice between Line A Matthews.
Yeah,
Right?
and yeah, mine was Winnipeg, obviously, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
hell yeah,
Yeah, we
Right.
met here and
yeah,
right? So it's, I don't know. It's, I think it's a good idea. I think it's smart that they're doing it between the final game of the regular season and the first game of playoffs because there's a couple dead days there.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
there's
it's good.
not.
You
Now
gotta-
there's something.
Mm-hmm.
There's some NHL something in there to keep fans engaged.
yeah.
Occupado.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I don't know. It's better than nothing, for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, I like it.
So I mean, Edmonton might win the lottery. That's nice. Vancouver. I wouldn't hate it if Vancouver won the lottery. You guys probably wouldn't be such fans, but
To be honest, my hate
I don't
for them
care.
has just gone way downhill since
Well, 'cause it's-
Longo and the Sedin sisters left.
Right.
and Kessler.
There's a,
Can't
Yeah,
forget
that's what I
The
mean.
ex is
There's no
gone.
one to hate there anymore.
That's true.
I know.
No more riots.
Well, and they're not even competitive, right? Well, they're still
let's-
competitive, but it's
I've
not
said
the
it
same. You
I've
know?
said it multiple times. I liked watching them this year
Yeah, yeah.
because it was like interesting. It was
Yeah.
it was so back and forth because they weren't consistent, but there was flashes.
It's a whole different guard there. Like,
It's kind of the
and
junior
Pedersen
hockey.
is so fun to watch.
Yeah,
'cause he's
that top
so
line.
creative with the puck. So
yeah.
It's the junior hockey kind of
Kinda,
thing, right?
yeah.
Where it's like, generally speaking, the offense is going to be there because the defense isn't really there.
yeah,
like,
they're all trying to get 120 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess before we run too far away from Edmonton, I mean, Draisaitl's looking at 100 points this year too.
44,
Yeah.
45 goals.
Well, he's at 41 right now.
I thought he had more.
42, sorry.
42. Either way, to
That's
be honest,
huge.
even at the beginning of this year, I would have said that's a shitty contract. It's looking good in comparison. So like,
It doesn't look. It's not even.
It looks better.
No, I think it doesn't even look close to bad anymore.
I don't think it looks bad really either.
I
It's
it's
they
still
just
a
got to
tough
figure out
one.
how to retool.
He's had 70 points.
But I'm
He's
saying
pretty
plus.
dominant.
he's
3
had
seasons in a
70
row.
points playing with McDavid. Because
But in a way though,
every
if
time
you
you're playing
watch
without him,
the
not good.
Oilers games though, it's not always just McDavid.
no,
It's
no.
definitely Draisaitl a lot driving that too
Yeah.
because he's the one who takes the pucks from the corner, gets a
in
board play.
overtime. They're a force.
Yeah, right.
Draisaitl's as close to like a skilled power forward as you can get.
Mhm.
I think if he was a bit faster, that would be the only thing.
He's-
I don't
Well,
like
but
about
that's the
his
thing.
game.
Power forwards generally aren't the fastest guys.
I know,
Like
so,
that's
like,
my point. Like
that would be the only thing. I'd
if
be
you,
like,
we just had it. Like the Iggy kind of guy.
doesn't exist.
No, he doesn't. But that's Draisaitl is that kind of
I wouldn't say he's that tough.
type
Yeah.
of. Well, he doesn't fight, but he's that kind of
Yeah.
player. Like that's his size. That's his muscle. That like he doesn't fight. Doesn't really hit. But he does get the puck that way. He does.
Yeah, he
get in front of the net.
uses
He
it-
battles
yeah.
and stuff. Like we were kind of talking about today. Like I think 8.5 is actually really not that bad.
In comparison to these other contracts, it looks really good.
It
Yeah.
looked a lot worse, like you said.
For sure, it did.
Before.
When he was the first guy like through the gate on that 8+, when you're like, oh, like
This
rookie,
is new.
rookie guy getting 8.5, like what the hell?
Yeah.
Instead of earning it through like winning, right? That was the
Put it this way:
first domino on this.
he's gonna
this
end
trend.
up more than a point a game at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He's gonna play the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
He scored 40. Well, he's at 42, so he's gonna be
He's
top.
10.
He's gonna be top 5 in goal scoring.
Yeah.
He's gonna be top
Pushing 50.
5, top 10 for sure in
I was gonna
points.
say there is a lot of people like 40s.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy
Yeah.
what the points that are looking like right now. Like the
Right.
point race.
Yeah.
But again, like if you compare him to Nylander at 7-ish,
I'd way rather have Draisaitl.
exactly. Right? Like I would same I said this too, right? Like cap percentage, I would kill to have Marner at 8.5, like at like Draisaitl's percentage.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not gonna happen.
No.
Right?
Not anymore.
Yet Draisaitl's probably gonna get more points than Marner this year. Most likely.
Who would you rather have though? Like just no, forget contracts. Who would you rather have?
I think I'd rather have Marner.
Me too.
But
I think he runs a line,
I think.
oh,
well,
I do too. I
don't-
agree for sure.
Yeah.
and I don't know if Draisaitl does.
No,
think
I
it's
agree that too.
Obviously depends on what you need.
But it's like if
I get it.
Draisaitl's at, I can't even remember the percentage the cap he's at, but arbitrarily 10%, and Marner's at 12, then I'm probably still with Marner. But if Marner isn't and ends up at like 14 or something, or like
The only thing-
I'm obviously not, but like 20% higher.
My biggest thing is if you get paid that much and you can't do it without someone else.
I agree.
That's the biggest gripe I have with Draisaitl.
I agree, but at the same time, you have that on a lot of teams. You have the pairs, right?
Well, I think that's why Pittsburgh's done so well for so long because they just throw people at
Well,
Crosby.
That's the thing. Like McDavid does that too, right?
Yeah.
McDavid
No,
can
he
make
does
his
well no
line mates
matter
better.
Who he plays with.
Yeah. Crosby does that too. Like but that's the thing.
Obviously,
They're
those
the
are, like,
upper echelon
1, 2.
player, right?
They are 1, 2, whatever order you pick. But
The same could kind of be said with Toronto. Like, is it Matthews that's helping Janssen and Kapanen? Like,
I don't.
Janssen and
think so,
Kapanen
actually.
are 19 and 20 goals each, right?
I've watched Kapanen a lot.
Kapanen is
He's really good.
fast as fuck.
yeah.
I
He
think
really
he,
fits the new build of the
he-
NHL.
of all like, and I don't want to get too into this, but of all the I'm having a brain fart. the offer sheets. Sorry,
Oh yeah,
Kapanen's probably the most interesting one.
that's terrifying.
They have to give up a second round.
Yeah, and like for like what 5 or less or 6 or less or something.
Why would you not do that?
Yeah,
Toronto cannot match that.
no. If you
He's a good player.
That's
too.
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
if you pay, because I'm pretty
Why
sure.
would Ottawa not do that?
Yeah, like
Why
I'm pretty sure.
would all these other teams not do that? Obviously, Kapanen has to accept it, but like, why would you not do that to a player like Kapanen and give up a second round, which I think he's way better. Than
Way
a second
better.
Round.
He's worth it.
There's no okay. The Leafs traded Phil Kessel and got Kapanen as part of the deal. That was basically like a first round pick value add.
Yeah.
They like when the Leafs traded Kessel, it was we're not trading Kessel to you unless we get Kapanen.
Yeah.
That's why I was.
I
call.
fully agree. Like he's turned into what they kind of expected. It's awesome. He plays awesome. I love him on the team. I'm pretty sure the second round pick in the offer sheets is like 6.1 million or something.
whatever it is.
If a team gives them like just under that limit,
Toronto's
there's no
walking
way.
away.
They have
Sorry,
to.
can't match.
They can't. They
Yeah.
cannot.
So that's
It would suck. I would be devastated.
that's why I'm surprised all these people are talking about like the big guys, and I'm like, why are you guys not looking at Kapanen or
I feel like that's
even
where it's
Andreas Janssen? I don't
Yeah.
know if he's up this year, but like those types of players,
it's
that
more
are-
suitable to go after
Yeah.
that with that.
especially when
offer
you
sheet.
know Toronto can't.
Yeah.
well,
Like,
and you're
with
not
Marner,
giving.
you know they can. Because
Yeah,
they're
well,
gonna pay him
they're
whatever
gonna.
they want.
Yeah, exactly. And if you do win the offer sheet, you don't give away everything you got for
It's
them.
a
Like you don't.
second round.
You don't Columbus your freaking draft
Right.
picks.
If it was 3 second rounds, I think it'd be worth it.
And plus, if you're gonna offer sheet Marner, you
gotta
have
give
to
up
pay
a
him
lot
that.
and,
Yeah.
and have the draft picks.
And
It's
if you're
your
gonna
draft
offer
picks.
sheet him above what Toronto can pay him, then that's a shit ton of money,
And-
right? So
And again, it's right. Like the thing is with offer sheets mostly is the fact that either you have to overpay a guy to like so that if they were to sign it, it would screw them.
Or fuck the team.
Well, then it's going to screw you. Kapanen, I don't. If you like 6 million is a lot. Like I think that's
He
way.
would take that.
Oh, Kapanen would take
Why
that for
wouldn't
sure.
you?
I don't know how long you'd have to go.
However long it takes to get him.
Yeah, right. Like, but I'm saying
1 year.
like if it's like say 6, well, just use 6 million as the arbitrary term, and it's 6 years.
was fine.
He's taking that in a heartbeat.
Why wouldn't he?
And
That's not a
I
bad
don't think
contract.
That's a good risk for a
exactly.
team.
And I don't think that he's not gonna be worth 6 million
That's what I'm saying.
at some point in that
Yeah.
deal.
I
So you're not really overpaying him either.
I
It's
don't
the term that the Leafs can't really deal with.
as like a fan, I don't mind the 4 to 5 year terms because it makes it seem better or worse depending if they do not, pan out.
Yeah,
Then you don't screw your team.
for sure.
So that's why it's more of a conservative move, and I think a lot of teams would do that.
And depending on where you are, especially like those long contracts might not even be necessary, right? And like if it's kind of give and take. Like I think you could end up overpaying on longer contracts, right?
Well, yeah.
Like a lot more easily than like a 4 or 5 year contract.
Well, obviously, hindsight 2020, I was really surprised that Toronto didn't trade him because of that reason and try to get the, third or fourth defenseman like to complement Muzzin and Morgan Riley. That's
could
what
have been,
surprised me.
yeah.
Or Andreas Janssen, one of the two.
I'm sure they could have put together a nice package too.
I bet you
that,
they did
but-
get offers, just nothing that they wanted because
Yeah.
every team knows. Well, I don't care, right? Wait till the off season. I'll fucking offer sheet.
right.
Mind you, we haven't seen an offer sheet since.
Well, that's
Ryan
the
O'Reilly,
thing, right?
right?
Like it's how many times are we gonna talk about offer sheets and them not happen?
To be
Yeah,
honest,
it's-
I don't think
yeah.
we've talked about it that much on the podcast. have we?
We talked
Every
about
once in a while.
we talked about it when we were talking cap issues.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about
couple
that
months
last
ago.
week. That's why I bring it up this week.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy thing to just avoid. Mind you, if you can't afford them either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm terrified for stuff like that. That's why I'm also, if we go back to the start of the podcast, right? Like that's why it's terrifying that the Leafs are doing shit like this,
Full circle.
right? That's why it's
Yeah.
terrifying the Leafs are doing shit like this against Chicago and Tampa, when
Yeah.
you're like, "Okay, man, this team isn't going to be the same next year."
No.
Right?
They
So
can't keep everybody.
use it while you got it. Obviously, they might be better next year. But they might very well be worse.
You don't know, right? Yeah.
right? Like
You're in this position, you can't be.
Who's
You're
their,
you're
who's
getting a
their
career-
biggest D prospect? Lindgren or whatever.
Lilligren.
Yeah, that's the only one I know.
Or Lilligren or
Russell, whatever.
no, Callie Rosen's just
Rosen.
kind of like a third pairing guy. No, they drafted him last year. What the hell's his name?
I don't remember.
Come back to me.
But I was just gonna say that'd be the only thing because like Toronto forward prospects, I know nothing about.
No, they don't have a ton. Like this Trevor Moore kid's pretty damn good for what he is, but they've got they've got some in the pipeline. Damn it,
Technology.
I can't. Too much pressure.
I can't even.
I just can't even. Can't evening.
Where is it? Go away. This is pretty good radio.
I was gonna say.
podcast. Sandin, that's the one. Rasmus Sandin. They just drafted him last year.
Okay.
He's a Swedish kid out of the Sioux, I think. Yeah, where Dubas was GM before. So he's a big fan. He actually is playing really well, but he's still young. Like I can't imagine he's in the league next year. Lilligren could very well be on the team. Callie Rosen and Borgman, that's the other like third pairing guy they've got down there that they got out of Sweden too. They're potentially NHLers. This is part of the problem right now, though, is the fact that Gardner's hurt, Dermott's hurt, and then on top of that, Callie Rosen and Borgman are hurt. They're having like really good years, but then they get hurt right when the Leafs need them, and it's like holy.
That would have been such a good potential.
Martin
call-up.
Marincin is brutal.
He
Brutal.
Wasn't he projected to be like top 4?
I don't know.
He's looked really.
They got the
not
Leafs
good.
got him for nothing. I think they picked him up on waivers from
Oh,
Edmonton.
did
like
they?
he was in Edmonton.
Well, what happened?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Connor Carrick? He would have been okay.
Right, so it's just like some of that shit. It's just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
right? It's timing and stuff like that. But again, right, like we can go back to the Leafs as much as we want. They're not good right now, partially because their back end's decimated with injuries. But hopefully they come back. Right, that's the thing. Gardner's been week to week, and it's been 2 or 3 weeks of that, and it's like, oh, okay, are you coming?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what would you like though in that situation? Do you want him to come back before he's like 85%?
No,
you know?
definitely not.
Or
Wait
yeah,
till the
you want him
playoffs.
to get close to really.
So
healthy,
last
right? I
game of the
think.
season's the 6th, right? For most teams,
Yeah.
Depending on who they're playing.
I'd love him back on the 30th. So get him a week back.
If
Four
they're
games,
if they're
4
resting a
games.
lot of their players, like the last game, put him in if he's feeling okay.
Yeah, for sure. I'd rather him be in for more than one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But at the same time, right, I'd like the Leafs to have, second place in the Atlantic. But
Yeah.
That'll be tough on him.
I don't know if that's gonna happen,
no, I don't know.
but you never know.
So who are your guys' surprise teams? So we're 16, 14 games. At
12 most.
I thought a couple teams had 16.
Probably like
No.
11 to 15 or so.
Either way, we're
mean
in the
like-
low teens now.
Most teams are at 69 or 70 games
Who's
played.
your
but-
surprise team that gets in, and who's the surprise team that gets out? I like this conversation.
in
Well, I've
both
been going
conferences, or
So like
so I'm picking.
counter to last week, Columbus is in, so you can't pick that one.
Oh, like
So
so,
let's start
who's outside looking in
It
that you
gets
think?
pushed out in each side. So let's start
Okay.
on. Where do you want to start, Tyler? You got it pulled up.
I'd say Columbus out. It's not really a surprise.
Yeah.
Montreal in. It's not really a surprise either, right? Like, I'm not going off the board
these are
here.
lame picks.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't.
It's
I don't see-
there's no one else to pick though. You think?
Okay.
I don't know.
So this is the East, right? We were just talking
You
about.
can't really
Edmonton.
get Philly in there, maybe.
Well,
Fuck,
that's-
you never know.
Tampa. Out.
We were
No.
just we were just talking about how the West is over and the Oilers are 6 points out. Philly is 5 points out,
That's my
Yeah.
surprise team to get in.
right? Like they have to go on a run. Like I know you just said Carter Hart's back.
You know, I think it's possible,
But-
but well, it's
I
obviously
want
possible.
Philly just because I like Philly, and I think
Strange
Carolina
choice.
gets out because I don't think they have the team.
I think Columbus would go out before Carolina.
Well,
Personally,
that's the
I
thing.
think
like,
Columbus is a better team. Just
I
on
think
paper.
Columbus
You're
is a
crazy,
better
man.
team
You're
on
crazy.
paper.
on paper, man.
you're telling me Philly, who is 7 points back at Carolina, knocks them out.
Fucking rights.
I mean, that would be
Watch it,
surprising.
watch it.
I told you
For
these
sure,
are
you're
surprise
right.
picks.
Watch it happen. Brent will just be like, "What's up?" The West is a little bit more
As Barry
interesting.
said, Brent's the Eric Francis of the bench boys. That's pretty bad. It's pretty rough.
What a compliment, eh?
That's
Hey,
quite the
Eric
comp.
Francis is pretty successful.
yeah.
I'm so successful.
Not allowed to boo your own goalies, guys. Who the West? Fuck.
This one's the tough one.
The West is tough.
I know you're gonna say Chicago, so I'm not
I'm
gonna take
rooting
that
for
one.
him. So
But yeah, like
I think they
Chicago,
probably,
Dallas. That's my spot, and I really want Arizona to make it so I can see Kelvin.
I want to see
yeah, you just
Arizona
want to
make
see
it.
Pickard play in the
Yeah.
playoffs, don't you?
Win.
That's
Hey, where do goalies actually get like the spotlight? It's the playoffs,
oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
oh
sure.
hell yeah.
right?
And you can make a huge
So
difference.
he's gonna totally blow it.
Fucking, he's gonna nail it.
That's
And
the
I'm
thing.
gonna
Like
look like a genius.
I hate it because like Arizona seems it's. That's the thing.
I think
This
the team that I think should be in that isn't is Minnesota.
Oh,
yeah, so do I. But then
100%.
like.
Or
Remember, do you remember
Colorado,
last
too.
year we looked at this? We looked at the plus minus differential when it came playoff time last year. It was legit last year. Every team in the East and the West that was
Right.
plus goal differentials in the playoffs. Every team that was minus was out. The Minnesota Wild are minus 14 right now.
Arizona is -9.
Yeah, like that's
And that's mostly
rough.
from the start of the year.
Yeah, that's true, right? That's the thing you can't necessarily bank on all the time. But it's just kind of weird, right? Like Colorado's +5. Do I think they're gonna make it? It's all based on Varlamov
Yeah, it's
and
tough.
Grubauer. I think like
Gruber
I think
did
it's a lot on
awesome at the end of the
goaltending.
year last year for
Yeah.
Washington. So
he did.
it's not like it's never happened.
No, it's not. But that's also not the same team.
I think this is the year of like, I don't want to say goalies just because there's been so many headlines. Like obviously, with the Flyers.
the 8 goalies.
Yeah, and
You see that picture today?
No. Oh,
Their
the
team
gritty
picture. Their team picture today. Well, at least they released it
for
today.
just the goalies.
No, they had 4 goalies in the team picture.
ridiculous.
Dressed.
Jeez, dude.
Amazing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh my God.
Basically, they put like Elliott and I think Carter Hart in the front row,
And
and then in the
Stolarz or
back
whatever.
row, like
No way.
behind people, so
Oh,
you
they
can't really
traded
tell
it.
they're a goalie. They had
Talbot
Stolarz and Talbot, I think,
That's hilarious.
or not Stolarz.
I was gonna
um,
say.
That's what I said. They traded him.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Talbot,
Talbot
and
and
what's his face? I can't
McKenna?
even
No,
remember.
they don't have McKenna anymore.
No.
I can't. There's how many goalies?
Too
is there?
many.
Yeah, I was gonna say which one of
Can't
eight are we
even
talking
handle it.
about?
Maybe they brought Kelvin Pickard back. Want to take a photo?
Hey, you want to come?
You
have a
want to come
picture?
join?
Yeah, but
NHL
no,
record most goalies in a photo.
they did. I can't remember who it was before. Like even last year, Vegas
Oh.
had 4.
Duh. Michael
Right.
Neuwirth.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Is he
Yeah.
injured?
No, he's
Yeah, he's
signed
been injured
for
for a
though.
while, right?
No, he's UFA at the end of the year.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they signed him.
They have 3 UFA goalies at the end of the year.
Well, you know,
Cam Talbot,
Well,
Brian Elliott.
They have 5 other ones
I
that
think-
got NHL experience this year.
I think they're gonna re-sign Talbot because I heard him and Carter Hart are like mentor-mentee sort of thing, which is
Is
kinda
Elliott
odd.
signed after this year?
Well,
I know,
how Philadelphia can that get?
Oh,
right?
no doubt.
The mentor is the,
the
That's
mentor
backup.
is Cam Talbot.
That's
oh, my
trademark.
But that's what I heard, which is odd to me.
No, that is the best thing to come out of Philly, if that's true.
It's what I heard.
I love that so much. So much.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think you're on to something for sure with Chicago be pushing. Like if you want them to be that team, I'm with you. For sure.
I don't know. They're
Even, like,
my underdog pick.
the
I-
only reason I would pick Minnesota over them is just purely based on points, but based
dude,
on
They've been
the
rough.
games that have been played lately, I would agree that Chicago's like they could do it. They got
Them
12
trading
games.
Granlund was towel. They threw in the towel, in my opinion.
That's what it seemed like, for sure.
And it was yeah,
he's a
it's
70+ guy when he's doing it,
odd. And
and he
yeah,
just had like 20 bad games, and they were like, he's done.
it's
towel.
just not Minnesota's year too. They've had too many things go wrong.
To be honest, though, their GM can't do much. All those contracts are long term. They just signed Stahl. Like, what else is he gonna do?
yeah,
Like,
Pretty much that's it. Yeah.
other than sit in that office and make money, I don't know what that guy would do. And Granlund was a big move. I don't even know who they got back for him.
it was Fiala.
yeah, Fiala.
Yeah,
Which
I'd
is fine.
rather have Granlund.
See, my throw in the towel pick or trade would have been the Niederreiter one, which was way earlier. But it's like that was such a brutal trade.
That was a bad trade too.
I told you I like Rask.
I do too.
Yeah, but
he
he hasn't panned out.
he's
at all,
not
right?
even close to as good as Niederreiter.
It's not looking good stat wise,
I don't even
or
like
just record wise. Look at the
I'm not even going
yeah.
with that, right? Like it's just you look at some of the stuff that advanced stats people have said. Man, like it's not even close what these guys have done since the trade. And when you look at their deeper stats and you're like, why did they make this trade?
It's so heavily reliant on Dubnyk right now.
He is still an amazing.
That's
goalie.
the one reason I would put them in.
Yeah, because he
It's
could.
'cause
He
you
could
like
do
their
that.
D.
Dubnyk could easily go off and
Yeah.
just go nuts. And I mean, their last 10, they're 6-2-2.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems like they've been playing bad, but they've lost 2 in a row, but one was to San Jose. That's not really inexcusable.
Man, San Jose, when they get Carlson back, are going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, San Jose is scary, man. They're
Burns
they're the
is-
scariest team in the West, in my opinion.
Really, you think?
Other than Calgary.
I think
Okay.
they are.
I heard this really fun stat today. Nashville. So, I mean, most people, I still think they're one of the top teams in the league, never mind the West.
Well, President's Trophy last
They
year.
started 13-3 this year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Since then, they've gone 26, 24, and 5. Brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not great.
They've had really cold stretches. Well, even like Subban is having an awful year, right?
Yeah.
Like not even close to what he usually does. And Pecorine has gotten hurt 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I do like that Saros,
Dude,
but he's not.
He's
not as good as
He's
Rittner.
their next guy. except
Fucking,
for
I
they-
thought he was.
Goalie expert, Brent.
Yeah. 5'8" goalie gonna take over.
Take over the world. But it's funny to think that you. It's obviously a little not name recognition. That's not properly proper term, but it's kind of that, right? It's just the reputation Nashville has. You just assume they're really good, and they haven't really been, right? Like, I don't know as a Jets fan, but like as a hockey fan, Winnipeg just seems to kind of be meandering. Like, I think it could partially be because Tampa Bay is just crushing it, but Winnipeg hasn't seemed to be like dominant.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah,
They don't to me seem to be like the best built team in the league.
Wheeler
Yeah.
and
They haven't
Scheifele
really-
are dominant when they're out there together.
Yeah,
Oh, hell
for sure.
yeah.
But they
Other than that, like their team is still like they got.
They have
lots
some
of good
inconsistency problems. They're bottom 9.
they
Well,
haven't
Laine,
really
we
gone.
talked about
They haven't
enough.
really gone on the roll. I think that's probably part of it. Is
Yeah.
the line A factor hasn't really
But
been there.
That power play was pretty bad for a few.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to say weeks. I think it was a month or 2.
Yeah,
Like where they just couldn't score, and the Ehlers been hurt. Like they've had some
Yeah.
problems.
So, but then
And
right,
Buffalo-
so then you
Buffalo's
look
done
and
a
you're
lot.
like, well, they're
Yeah.
still in first in the Central. So you're like, wow, sweet, that's great. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, they're 40-25. Like that's a pretty good season considering. Like, us obviously, if you compare that to anybody but Tampa, that's really
When
freaking
I
good.
when I
season,
look
yeah.
at the standings, other than like the Tampas that are just like a full team, a lot of it's goalie stories. Like I
Yeah.
said, like even like obviously New York Islanders. That's like the perfect example. Like
That's like the main-
Leonard and Grease having like record years.
Mhm.
Boston
Fleury.
with Halak and Rask, Fleury
Fleury,
with
8
Vegas
shutouts.
just being amazing.
How many goddamn
Right?
shots
Like
he had?
all the teams that are in have goalie stories.
It's
Yeah.
almost like, right? It's almost like the playoffs has played out for the whole year
Yeah, typically you don't have the goalie step up until the playoffs.
until the playoffs start, and then
Like Holtby last year, right?
well, like
Yeah.
even if you go back, like Kiprusoff getting the Flames to the freaking Cup final,
Yeah.
Rolison getting the Oilers to the Cup
Rolison,
final.
yeah.
Who the
Halak.
hell was
Halak in
Halak?
Montreal, yeah.
I guess we probably should talk about that. Carey Price setting the
Oh, yeah,
record
yeah.
for most ever wins
Yeah.
by a Montreal Canadiens goalie.
That is a crazy
yeah,
stat.
right.
That is crazy because to me,
He's still got 7 years on that contract.
yeah, he this is the first year of
Yeah.
his big deal.
He's
How
gonna
old
crush
is this?
that record.
That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
Carey Price, I thought about this when I watched the TSN little clip of Carey Price hitting the 315, the interviews after all this stuff. I used to play Xbox with a guy, Montreal fan, diehard Montreal fan. He fucking loved Halak.
They wanted
And
to trade Carey Price.
They hate
Yeah.
a lot of Montreal fans hated Carey Price.
I remember that.
Hated him, and I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
I I have loved Carey Price since he got drafted. The only reason I don't love him more is because he's a Hab.
Mm-hmm.
I really hate that he's a Hab. But the moment he was a Team Canada goalie, there was a jersey I bought, right? Like, instant. I've loved him since he got in the league. And I told him, I was like, you are insane if you think Halak is better than Price.
Yeah.
A couple years later,
Mind
Price is going nuts for the Habs. Halak is doing absolutely nothing in the island or wherever he went.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was others.
I was like, oh my, like, and now all of a sudden, boom, he's writing a history book on a team like Montreal
With
that have
the-
had some of the most crazy goalies ever. That's what blew me away.
And with the injuries he's already had.
Yeah, that too. Like he
missed a
basically
lot
missed
the
the whole
last 2
season
years.
almost,
Yeah.
2 years, yeah.
right? This guy, to me,
And no, not a very good
It's-
team
it
No,
seems
for most
well,
of the time.
They've had like of the last 4 years, only 2 good teams, I'd say.
yeah.
Like even
Yeah.
this year is a surprise.
This year it doesn't make sense.
No,
What blew me away though, 315 doesn't seem very high.
it's a lot.
For it is a lot for sure.
A really good goalie win season is 40, like really good.
Yeah, I know, but that's my point. Like
That's
these
a
guys
lot.
have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not like they're like I don't know, the Flames have been around for, 50 years. Like these guys have been around for over 100 years
Yeah.
and 315, 314
And one of the most
was
winning franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a crazy.
It's
a
crazy to me.
record.
24 cups or whatever.
Right, you look at like
To
you
be
look,
the number one in any stat on any team is a accomplishment.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's
On
obviously
any
lesser.
category,
It's obviously lesser if it's,
unless it's
Vegas.
like a negative one. Yeah.
but right, like I was blown away that it was only 315 for the record. Like you look at Lundqvist and stuff, he's like 400 plus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously Lundqvist is near the end of his career, so it makes sense why he's there.
What you think about though, like again, do the math, right? That's a lot of very good years.
But yeah, that's fair,
Or
but it's also
consistent throughout a long period of time.
But
which-
even, yeah,
the
you
other
kinda
thing
what
is
he's
it's only like a 50% winning percentage.
which is crazy.
Right? Like
Yeah.
that doesn't
It's the longevity. That's the
yeah, that's the thing. It's been consistent, right? Like it's not straight 500 hockey. Like it's not like 315 wins, 315 losses.
no.
But it's like 315 wins, 270 losses, and a bunch of overtime losses and ties,
It's a
right?
big
Like,
difference.
so it's just crazy to me that I would expect a Montreal Canadiens record for that to be in like the 450s or something.
Yeah.
But having a goalie do that for that long,
7 years to go.
yeah, that's the thing. Like
He's gonna
this
crush it.
this
He's gonna
record's
crush
going to end at like 500.
Wow.
It seems.
barring the
it.
Knock on
unexplainable
wood.
Yeah, be-
trade or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like I
never
couldn't
know.
imagine. I mean, it was kind of talked about. Like I know I talked about it over the summer for sure.
Yeah.
Seemed like going into
Well,
this
especially
season,
after last season. Right?
seemed like
Yeah.
going into this season, the only thing that
Could save Montreal.
Montreal had as value was Pacioretty, and well, actually no, Pacioretty was already gone.
Yeah.
The only thing they had of value was
Weber.
I guess
and
Drouin,
Price.
Weber was at the end, and Price.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they made a team out of it.
Yeah,
That's done really
Domi
well.
Just like, oh, I'm really good.
Again, even if you look at that same token, like Bergeron looked like Bergeron looked like he was fired.
Yeah.
Like he looked like he was basically just there and waiting to get fired. And all of a sudden the
It's a
dude
redemption season.
They're
I haven't heard a single we should fire Bergeron thing this year.
Wow.
They're the biggest, like one of the biggest surprises, other than like New York this year, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy, 100%. But we almost forgot about that. That would have been real bad.
Who's
What
that?
the hell-
Who's
what the-
Price?
Yeah. What the hell were we talking about?
I don't know stuff.
Stuff. Didn't matter.
Probably about some goalie.
Probably
winning.
something unrelated.
Oh, yeah,
Ah,
just-
we were talking about teams. The
Yeah,
goalie stories.
goalie stories.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, I guess we go there. Like, Tuukka Rask didn't have the greatest start of the year. Halak
He
was great,
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halak stepped up.
Yeah,
And
he
then
held that
Rask
team
just
up for a
kinda
bit.
Figured his shit out.
Yeah.
right? So
Like,
it's
even Calgary. Shit, like
Yeah, yeah.
every team.
that's
doing
what we were
well.
talking about playoffs, like goalie stories.
Yeah, that's typically where goalies get their
Their big name.
shot, right? And this year it's like, nope.
And then you have other ones where it's like Niemi.
Yeah,
that could be
doing
like a
basically
Riddick
Nothing.
this year.
Yeah, exactly. It
right?
could be Riddick. It could also be probably not Calvin Pickard. But
Hey, you never know though.
they're in, looking out.
what if crazy? This would blow my mind. What if Pecorine just figures out how to play playoff hockey?
Ooh, that's-
I don't put that.
the
past him.
records disagree.
I know that's what I'm saying. That
Right.
would be crazy. But what if it happens?
I feel
right?
like that's so like
They
that's
almost
got to be
they
in his
almost
head
need
mentally.
that to happen.
Well,
Well, yeah.
Pekarine's struggles in the playoffs are
Yeah.
about as
It's like
guaranteed as
Brian
the
Elliott
Leafs
bad.
struggles against Boston,
Yeah, for sure, right?
right? So it's
That's what they need to, and like it's so tough. Like I wonder if he, especially if he's not good, like not good at all,
If they
if
Go
they
Saros.
think about getting rid of him, right?
yeah.
I said at the beginning of the year, I thought they were going to move on from him because
'cause
of the playoffs.
What's
And
the
if
use,
Saros-
right?
They signed Saros to a really good contract, so
Yeah.
good for them.
Because what's the use in having a goalie that plays well in the season? You get there, it doesn't fucking matter if you lose any time.
So, well, we were saying this, I think, in an earlier podcast. Almost like the last few teams that have won have had that kind of duo,
Yeah,
right? I actually,
Sort
you
of.
can lean
Yeah.
on your backup for a couple games or something,
Yeah.
and then
yeah. So like, it's typically one guy does bad, and you lean on the other one and kind of ride the hot hand.
No, I don't. It's not really that. That's
Well, think of the last 4, right?
yeah, but no, it's not the ride the hot hand because that's generally the 1A 1B type. No, but nobody's had that. It's they've had the like.
Pittsburgh. I'd say they.
No, they didn't have because they never went back.
What do you mean?
They never went like.
Oh, you mean they to stick with one the whole
Yeah,
time?
well, no, like they never. It was never because who the hell was it? Zach was it wasn't Zakoff, was it
Who?
for Pittsburgh? Who filled in for Murray when he was shitty at the beginning of the playoffs?
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Jari.
Yeah, maybe it was
I
Jari.
think it was Jari.
But like, it's not like they went
I don't know,
Jari
though.
for a couple games and then went Murray for a couple games and Jari. It was
Yeah.
okay. Get us started. Don't let it like. Let's not get crushed. Keep us in the games and stuff. And then
And
Murray,
then Murray.
figured it out and,
And then
then
boom.
went
Yeah.
with it. Right.
That's
They
yeah.
never really had. It wasn't the hot hand. Like they never went back. It's just you needed that placeholder.
Yeah.
For
That's-
like,
I
which is
agree.
weird because that's never really. It doesn't. For the last couple of years, it's happened, but like in history, it doesn't. Because normally speaking, your backup goalie doesn't keep you in it. You normally, if you have to turn to your backup goalie at the beginning of a series in the first round of the playoffs, you're generally fucked.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. There's been a few like that's how Murray became Murray.
Yeah.
Fleury was struggling. They threw in the kid, and this kid's good,
Yeah,
right? Like, and that's the first his first year. You fucking won a Stanley Cup ring
he won 2
in his
cups
first 2 years
as a rookie.
Jerk.
Yeah. It's like
That's how ridiculous that is.
And
Crazy.
then like, I wouldn't say, not Montreal Capitals as much, but like Grubauer, like I don't know what it was with Holtby last year. Like he just couldn't figure it out, and then like halfway through the first round, which they almost lost because
Right.
they didn't have the team, and he figured it out.
But again, they didn't go back to Grubauer.
They did
It
a
was-
couple times, it just didn't work.
No, but that, like they didn't go. They
like
didn't.
4 or 5 games. I know. what
Yeah,
you're
but
saying.
like they didn't really have a whole like Holtby shit the bed one game and go, okay, we're going Grubauer now.
yeah, he didn't stay in for the next 4.
No.
Yeah.
I feel
Right,
like
so-
in the playoffs it's too hard to rotate, right?
Yeah, well, you don't have the time
Well,
because generally speaking,
typically you have the guy like Tyler's saying, and you ride him.
yeah,
Unless it's not working, then you switch. Like Pecorino got switched out lots.
same thing, right? Like it's generally speaking, it's still not your goalie's fault generally.
No, but you can't win in the playoffs. So you don't get saved.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So generally
Yep.
speaking, you still go back. Like, yeah, you might pull your goalie and rest him or whatever, get him out of the game. That's fine.
Babcock strategy.
Yeah, you just
Half-
Yeah, if you're getting
half and half.
murdered.
yeah. So he says he's gonna get Freddie into
Oh,
56 games. That's not happening.
No,
right, we were talking
not
about
after these.
He hasn't even sat. He hasn't not started since our last podcast, and he said he was gonna play every other game.
Hey, Calvin Pickard has started the
Like,
last.
why do you
or
say
played-
that?
played the last two,
uh,
so
we
I
saw
thought
that.
it was
so
funny.
ridiculous.
Why
right?
do you say that,
His
Babs?
math is not
But
good.
maybe that's it. Maybe he's just like, we're gonna make sure he doesn't play every minute for
Wink,
more
wink,
than
nudge,
6
nudge.
games
Pull him the last minute of
Yeah,
every
we'll
game.
pull in the last minute.
because they're losing every
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shall we get into the weekend,
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
friends? It's gonna be a nuts weekend again, as usual.
Hey, speaking of that Carolina Columbus, that's gonna be a good game tomorrow.
Yeah, that is.
Big
Every
time.
game for those two is big now.
Oh yeah. And you'd expect it to be a good game.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, like
I think it's a little early, but that is almost the game for the first wild card spot. Like that.
That could be
That might put it out of reach. Like if Carolina wins,
especially if
might
it's a
put it-
2-point game.
well, yeah, it's gonna be a 4-point game for one of those teams if they're the ones that end up fighting each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if the Hurricanes win and now Columbus is 4 points back, that's a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Friday I don't really have any other games than that one.
I don't.
Yeah, I was
Golden
kinda
Knights,
looking at-
Golden Knights and the Stars is
Yeah,
big for.
Could be good.
I don't know. Stars are like they haven't been that good lately.
Well,
Stars
no,
just don't
yeah, I
impress me
agree,
that much.
but that's the thing. It's
It like realistically it could be a playoff like first round matchup.
yeah,
right?
well,
So,
probably not.
Not first
No,
round.
not
or
first
second
round.
round. Sorry,
Yeah.
But if the Stars can win,
it's big for them.
that's huge, right? It maybe. Well, I mean, we say the Stars haven't been very good.
They're in.
But they're
Their
in.
goalie
They're
has
doing good
3
enough.
shutouts in a row,
Well, yeah, Bishop.
Jerk.
right? It's you can't.
I remember us saying that earlier in the season too. We're like, Bishop is gonna have to step up big time if they're gonna make the playoffs,
like
and
that's-
he's doing it.
Dallas is going nuts with him right now.
Yeah.
Could be a 0-0 game.
It's kind of like when Kudobin
goalie
was
battle.
playing well earlier, and it's like you still need Bishop though
Yeah,
to
oh,
be
yeah.
your guy.
Yeah.
Even though the Flames were playing on Friday, I have the game on Saturday for the Flames as my watch for Flames.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't
Oh,
think
heck.
you don't think your Flames game to watch this weekend's the Flames and the Rangers?
I actually do like
What?
watching the Rangers.
Yeah, they're okay.
I like Savantage. Well, not Zuccarello anymore, but Kreider and not Hayes either. But those 4 back in last month or two, they were fun to watch.
It's really weird to me that the Flames are playing on Friday night. It just doesn't seem to happen very often.
Mm.
Same as the Leafs. The Leafs play Friday night too, and I'm
Yeah.
probably not
Yeah.
even gonna watch it.
Oh yeah, they play Saturday too.
Yeah, Saturday's got 2 really good ones. So, in my opinion, I guess 3. I didn't see the Blues game.
The matinee Blues and Penguins
I
game.
didn't have that on my list, but the Flames and Jets, and then Nashville Sharks. Those are my 2.
Yeah, yeah.
That
All important.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll probably watch that Blues Penguins game because I'm sure it'll be on up here
Yeah, probably.
somewhere.
Somewhere.
But yeah, that Flames Jets game, that's a hell of a game on a Saturday.
You like
Will
arguably you
be
could
good.
say
Early game,
Capitals
too.
Lightning too. Like Saturday's got
Yep.
a lot of good games. Toronto Ottawa.
Woo!
There's actually been some pretty good games between them this
Yeah,
year.
well, they always do, right?
Their
Yeah.
records are like flipped almost automatically.
Yeah.
Like almost exactly.
Yeah.
They have one tie different, and then the wins losses are flipped.
Basically, yep.
Ottawa's just looking to screw their rivals over a little
Basically,
bit more.
yeah. Which,
Could happen.
if it's anything like the last few games, the Leafs are probably not going to show up.
Yeah.
Bruins Blue Jackets is bonkers too. Did the Blue Jackets not play like a shitty opponent for the rest of the year?
They have a tough schedule. They really have a tough schedule in the
Like-
next 2 weeks.
I'm still waiting for them to
back to back against Pittsburgh. Then you
do
play
something.
Carolina.
Well,
then
even
you
last
play
weekend,
Boston.
yeah.
Then you
Like
That's
what's going on? They spend like it's just so funny. Like they spent all these assets to get all these players, and like where is it paying off? Like it hasn't even paid off in my
To
opinion.
be honest, Bobrovsky has been playing pretty good.
Well, yeah.
So you
yeah.
can't blame it on him.
Oh no.
I think it's probably Torts.
if you're
I wonder
Torts,
if
you
it's
can.
Torts.
I wonder if it's just it's got to be a little bit, right? And just like I don't know, mixing up a lineup that much is scary.
You know what? I heard an interview. I think it was on the 31 Thoughts podcast that they interviewed him, and I actually liked him.
Torts?
I liked listening to Torts, and it like made me sick.
I like listening to Torres because I laugh.
Well, he was like he was being human for once.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I was like, ugh.
That's new.
He's an interesting character. It seems like he's like
I just don't
he's
like.
almost got like a bipolar hockey.
I really
frickin-
don't like how he just rants about how bad his players are when he's the fucking coach. So
Yeah, it's not the greatest.
it's like deflecting
old
his
style.
mistakes. Anyway,
Kind of.
that's
I don't know.
my 2 cents. on
So yeah, that's Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know. That late game between the Oilers and the Coyotes is up there.
him. No thanks. Unless
Oh, we,
Arizona's
we didn't
so
get
funny.
into the Oilers losing to the Jersey on the back-to-back. Damn it.
Well,
That
well,
wasn't very
we
good
can just
for
say
those,
it was
yeah.
pretty freaking bad.
If they do
especially when
that-
they get spanked 9-4 the previous night
Yeah.
yeah, they're
against,
Man.
and then
But-
you see this is the funny thing. I'm just saying, Oilers fans, grow up. Like you're gonna say that, oh,
I made a
the
joke.
Flames beat the or New Jersey. They're like half an AHL team. You just lost them on the back-to-back.
Yeah.
So just shut up. That's all.
I was gonna
But-
say, if you want a jersey in Edmonton, just sit in the front row.
Yeah.
Hey, free Jersey.
But the real late game, the Preds and the Sharks. That's
That's what I was saying. That's my.
a big
Yeah.
one.
That is the juggernaut game,
Yeah.
other than the Capital Tampa Bay game.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that game. It's gonna be.
There's some big games on.
That's
Actually, might not even be able to.
A good day
That's
for hockey.
huge.
That's probably not even on normal.
huge, humongous,
TV.
big,
Yeah.
Ginormous.
ginormous. Sunday.
I only have one game to watch on Sunday, and it's the Flyers Penguins, the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, those games are always spicy.
Well, it's like
Rematch of the outdoor game.
ever since that like 24-hour series or whatever they
Yeah.
had. Right? I've always liked watching those games.
Oh man,
well,
so
and
good,
then that playoff series too.
Yeah, of course.
right? Like, yeah, what was that like? 2012
I liked that
or
series.
something.
Something like
I
that.
think they have something similar now for like every team, but it's not nearly as good.
No, they don't.
Yeah, it's no HBO.
And good for Pangs. Pangs?
Pings.
Good for the Pangs getting in there.
Hometown hockey is a bit rough this week too.
Yeah.
Canucks and Stars.
No thanks.
Not really gonna put that one on top of the
Isn't
man.
Pedersen hurt again?
Who?
Didn't he get like elbowed in the face by
maybe.
Yeah.
Kreider?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
I'm
Kreider
not
got
gonna-
fined, I
I'm not gonna
guess.
watch
Yeah.
Canucks if Pedersen's not playing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
Well,
not the
I think
same,
someone else got injured too. It was
Did they?
Pedersen and someone.
I hope it's not Besser. Don't be Besser.
I don't think it was Besser.
Good.
It was.
I need him.
I don't know actually.
Back to back for the Oilers too.
Yeah.
Against Vegas. That's gonna be rough.
Yeah, they're gonna get spanked.
I could see them actually showing up for that one though.
Mm,
Maybe not so much for the Coyotes.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. Gonna be a good weekend though. It's
Yep.
like we said. This what the third last weekend of the year, fourth last weekend of the year.
The double point.
I guess
games
fourth
are the,
last.
Yeah, the 4-point games are.
Those are gonna be. It's gonna get rough. which I
These
like.
are usually the games that are really gonna turn
This
tides.
is
right?
pre-playoff. It's getting a little bit spicier.
Yeah,
Yes.
unless you're the Leafs.
And then
Then
fucking
they just-
quit.
Yeah.
Very mild.
Just fucking quitters.
So I'm just gonna do that too, and I'm gonna quit and go to bed. No. Thanks everyone for sticking around and watching the episode. Thanks Brett for flipping our cameras, making me look pretty. No, that's impossible.
No.
All right. Thanks everyone.
This
See you
is-
next week.
This is Eric Francis signing off.
Just for Barry.
See you guys.